everyone, welcome 21-year-old Lucy to the Maury Show. Now, Lucy is praying that the results of a DNA test will unlock the secrets of her childhood, which she says was a living hell. Backstage is a man named Richard, who could be Lucy's biological father. He claims he has been searching for Lucy since she was 2. But growing up, Lucy was given another story, one that has left her emotionally scarred, desperate for answers. Listen to her story.
Growing up in foster care was a nightmare. It was literally a living hell every single day. I was abused on a daily basis. I was told constantly that I was never loved, no one will ever want me, that I'll never amount to anything. They used to lock me in closets, keep food from me, they'd hit me. Every year on my birthday, all I ever wished for was a mom and a dad to come and rescue me. I was always told that a man named Richard was my father and that he'd given me up because he didn't want me and didn't love me. This broke my heart and I felt alone. A few days ago, I got the shock of my life. I believe I found my biological father on Facebook. Today, I'm here to discover who my real father is and to get the answers to the questions I've had for almost 20 years.
So, who did you think your father was when you were growing up?
I was told constantly that it was Richard. But all I was ever given was a name. I never had no pictures or anything.
When you were 2, you were put in foster care.
Yeah.
It was the worst 10 years of your life.
It was a nightmare. I really wish I hadn't gone through it.
And when you asked about your father during all those years, what were you told?
I was told that he had taken off from me and my little sister when I was young, about 1 or 2, because he wanted a son and he only had girls.
Did you have any contact with your mother when you were a child?
Yes, she was scheduled visits, usually like once a week. And then when I was in 4th grade, we were told that she cared about us and that she wanted us to have better lives, so she signed our rights away. But that's not the case.
You ever see her?
No, and she is not welcome in my life.
Now, you were split up with your siblings. You had other siblings. Mm-hmm. You were all split up when you went into foster care.
A couple of them were actually kept together, but I was completely split up and taken like a couple hours from them.
If you had had a father, would life have been different?
Yes, I wouldn't have gone through the stuff I've gone through.
So, what's this past week been like?
I'm still in shock.
Right. Tell me how it happened.
I was on Facebook one day.
This is a week ago.
Yeah. It's been a really crazy week.
Yeah. So you're on Facebook, right?
The reason why he caught my eye is because we have a mutual friend.
Oh. So then you called the friend?
Yeah, I texted him. And I'm like, how old is he? And I'm like, do you know him really well? And he's like, yeah, he's a really good person. Told me about his age, and it was about the right age because my mom's in about her 40s. So he's like, well, why do you ask? And I'm like, because I believe he's my dad. And so I reached out to him, and I asked him if he knew my mom, and he had said yeah. And then I asked him if he had any kids with her, and he told me that he had a daughter, and he said my name.
You haven't seen each other in 20 years.
Yeah.
Almost. Here he is. Richard. Richard, come on in.
You smell good.
It's emotional.
Nice to be here, Maury.
Nice to see you. You think that's your daughter?
I want her to be, yes.
You see any similarities?
I see a little bit. She's got my dimple in the chin, and she's got my spunkiness, I can tell you that.
It's not like you gave up on her. You carried her photo all these years.
Yes, I did.
Was it a baby picture?
It's the photo that I had, the guy of her got taken from her in 2001 was the last time I seen her, and it was Christmas. Yeah. And I said I wanted to have a photo of her. And they turned around and took a picture of her for me and gave it to me. And I had it for the longest time, just the photo itself. But when I finally technology, I took a photo of it with my phone. And ever since I've had my cell phone, I've had that picture in my phone.
Now, you can understand her being without a father all this time.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you come up, and so there's a part of her that's kind of a little angry, saying to herself, where was my dad? Was he looking for me?
Right.
And what she doesn't know is you were.
Yes, I was. I've been trying to find her since she was taken away from me. But every door that I went to, everybody I tried talking to, they just shut the door on me and they said, you're not worth it. We're not telling you nothing. You lost your rights.
One of the reasons why you lost your life is because you were down on your luck. You were homeless.
Yep.
And they weren't going to give a child to anybody who was homeless.
Right. They said they would not be able to give me my daughter because I didn't have a home. I had a job, but it wasn't paying that much. And I finally talked to DCFS, told them I had an opportunity to go out to California for a better job. And they said if I could get the job and show that I could support my girl, I could have her. By the time I got out there, that job fell through and I was back on the street again. I called DCFS and they told me I was nothing but a loser. Then I met my wife, told her my story, and she started helping me try to find my daughter. And her and I have tried so hard to find Lucinda that my depression has kicked in a lot, where it would spiral me out of control. And she looked at me last year and said, honey, we're going to find her by one way or another.
You were sure?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And we went down to DCFS last week. And I got a number that I could try to get a hold of some people to try to see if I could find her. And the next day, I wake up, flip on Facebook, and who do I see? Lucy, asking me. And she just said, I got something strange to ask you, and it's going to be kind of weird. And I didn't know the name for Adam, so I asked her. I was like, well, what's the question? I'll be truthful. She asked me if I knew her birth mother, and I said, yeah. She said, did you have a child with her? I said, yeah, and that child was taken away from me when she was about 1.5, 2 years old. And she told me that she was born Lucinda, and that's what her name was. And she asked me all kinds of questions, and I told her every answer she wanted to hear.
There's some doubt on her part.
When she was born, and I seen the small picture of her and everything, she had a lot of my facial features then. You know, we looked alike.
Well,
But as you know, when I've seen photos of her now, as she got older, her facial expression stuff's changed a little bit.
I do
Looks
look
more
a lot
like her
different.
mother?
I don't know. I never knew what her mother looked like back then.
I'm a carbon copy of my mom.
well, it's a 20-year mystery.
It is.
It is.
We're going to solve it. In the case of 21-year-old Lucy, Richard, you are the father. Wow. This changes everything, all right? Wow, I'm so happy for all of you.
I'm so happy that you brought us on the show and came to see for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes! We're going to have to spend a lot of time together. And we will do family things.
I missed you so much. Now I can say my life is complete.
Thanks for watching this dramatic DNA reveal. If you want to see more paternity stories, click here. And be sure to subscribe to be the first to know about all new DNA drama.